76.
The Business Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Insurance Center, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services.
And now,
Radio Cayman presents
The Business Buzz, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment. This is where we address the business topics that matter.
Radio Cayman's Business Buzz.
Here's your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning, Cayman Islands. This is Kathy Miller. I'm your host of the Business Buzz, and I'm very excited. On our first segment of the show this morning, we are talking everything fashion. So I had to look a little sharper this morning because, fashion. I couldn't be quite undone here. And we're talking about the Cayman Instyle Fashion Week, and I'm welcoming in studio guests Norma Ebanks, CEO of Cayman Instyle Fashion, and Alva Page, International Model Coach.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for having
Cayman.
us.
No problem. I'm glad you guys sound excited. Like
Oh,
you're
yes.
powered by a lot of coffee.
Wow.
I'm still
Super
waiting on my
excited.
coffee to kick in. So.
That to show you how excited I am. I haven't even had my coffee, but that genuine of, couple days to go type of energy.
Right.
I'm really excited.
Right, those butterflies,
Yes,
that
oh my
excitement,
God, a
the
lot.
I don't need to sleep until I'm 80 kind of feeling kicks in. At least for this week.
A lot of butterflies.
At least for this week. All right, Norma, I love Fashion Week in Cayman, and I remember when it started with somebody else a long time ago, and it was an amazing event, and then it died down a little bit, and you have resurrected it.
Yeah.
So let us talk about when you came on the scene to resurrect Cayman Fashion Week and is now known as Cayman Instyle Fashion Week.
When I came on the scene to resurrect, because as you know, I always was involved in Cayman Fashion Week from the start. And then people saying to me, when is it coming back? When is it coming back? So I remember make a phone call to the previous owner, and I'm like, what's going on? And they said, right now, we don't think, it's going to happen. I'm like, okay, then can you pass the baton on? And that was when it happened, and that was 2019. We started Instyle Cayman with two of my partner then, and then COVID came.
Right, yeah.
So COVID came and everything just went, and then after COVID, it's where we go from here. And then I end up with the franchise. I am now the owner, franchise for Cayman Fashion Week.
Oh, there is a franchise, so across the region?
Yes, so I
Okay.
end up with Cayman Fashion Week. I have Cayman Fashion Week franchise.
What are the other countries that have
And
the name for Fashion Week then?
Yes. So I started going New York Fashion Week as launched Norma Ebanks Design.
Okay.
So once I launched Norma Ebanks Design, we have New York Fashion Week, Milan Fashion Week, in Miami Fashion Week, Paris, Dubai, and the list goes on. So I say, you know what? Let me take over the franchise of Cayman Fashion Week. But then I had InStyle too.
Okay.
So I said, you know what? I can't do both. So that was when I put two together, and it became Cayman InStyle Fashion Week.
Okay.
So I combined InStyle Fashion Week with Cayman Fashion Week, and InStyle Cayman Fashion Week was rebranded and reformed.
Now, there was a bit of a mess before, and we're not going to go into those details at all, but I know that when you had to resurrect everything again in 2019, it had to be a little difficult.
It was.
So how was, I guess there was a lot of obstacles to overcome, but how did you manage to convince people we need this in Cayman?
You know what? So I go along, I realize myself as build that business in Cayman. So because I end up building that business in Cayman and become a business owner, entrepreneur in the Cayman Island, it wasn't easy, but it was a little bit easier for me. Because then when after people now gain people trust to say, guess what happened? I am the owner. I have the baton now. Help me to recreate it. And I must say, the community came on board, and this is our third year.
Yeah.
This is our third year.
Would have been longer if COVID didn't come and put a small dent in things,
this is
but
our third year. This is our third year. Not only we have the fashion week, but we have the Trailblazer Award to it.
Right. So let's get into the whole run of events. Is there a theme for this year? What the run of events are? Because things are happening. It's this week. It's this weekend are the major events.
Wow.
So.
Ooh. So yes, it's happening, and the theme for this year is sustainability.
Oh, that's my least favorite word, I think. But I just feel it's trending. It's a trendy word. It's very important, but that's just how I look at it.
Yes.
But
Okay.
But
when it comes
ours
to
is
fashion, there's
the
a
tree
whole
art.
other aspect of it.
Revamp. So
Yes.
ours is a tree art, recycle, all of that.
And I love to see creations that come out of that.
Yes.
So, yeah, I love to
yes.
see that. And
And
fashion's always
I,
recycled.
I decided to do that because of the schools and our local student who decided to take on the baton with me. They are not designers yet, they're emerging. So what happened with them, instead of having them creating all these pieces and thinking about sellable, what are we going to do with it? I said, guess what? Let's recycle stuff. Let's do recycles collection.
Okay.
Let's go in deep and use your art, the art side of your brain, and we come up with something, and we have some lovely pieces.
So there's going to be a line that's going to be kind of recycled pieces
Yes.
that you've worked on with high school students.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So we have high
That's
school
pretty nice.
students, and we also have creative fashion
Right.
school, which is their first graduation. So not only that we're doing the fashion week, I am also the founder of Creative Fashion School, and this will be Friday night will be our first graduation. So we have over 8 students will be graduate. The youngest is 5.
5 years old?
5 years old, yeah. And she will be displaying her 5 pieces.
No
then
way.
We have a 12-year-old will be displaying her 5 pieces.
Now, you look shocked. When
I'm
you said
shocked because I'm
5
like, what are
years
you
old.
five?
And not
With a
only
sewing
that,
machine
we
and
have
needles?
the video of them from start to finish. We actually have the video of them when they came in, and I had us to pile books on top of each other for the foot to touch the pedal.
Okay. I thought maybe it was on the head so they could learn how to walk like
Yes.
the models that they need,
and
but okay.
and that was last year summer. They came to my summer camp.
Okay.
And now they just kick the books away. Now they just kick the books away. So that is some of our. So we kicked off this Thursday with our swimsuit resort wear welcome party
Yes.
at the Holiday Inn.
That'll be a sexy event.
Yes, I
Yes.
know. Then on Friday we have our first gala.
The very first gala?
Very first gala.
Oh, okay.
What happened is that it's always been the Trailblazer Award
Right.
in Sorari. But what happened last year when we had it, for the years we had it in the Alley of the Ritz on Friday night. Last year it was like, oh my God, Miss Norma, my foot hurt standing so long in my ears because all we had was the I-Boys. And then it turned out so well. I'm like, you know what, Norma? Let it be our first Grammy Award.
In that sense. Okay.
Yeah,
I
in
like
that
that.
sense. The
And
Grammy,
I'm like,
the
you know
Oscars,
what?
yeah.
Let this became my first Oscar Award.
Yeah.
Okay. Our version.
Our version of the Oscar Award.
Yes.
And it can be the Oscar Award. You'll be shocked to know how much talent people.
Well, I don't think we can. I think that's a copyright issue.
It's
so
a
we
copyright
gotta
issue.
look for a different name for that. In that sense.
So this is it's our Trailblazer
Okay.
Award Gala. So that's the
Okay.
name of it.
All right. We're gonna get into the Trailblazer Awards
So
are
the
about.
Trailblazer
But
Award.
before you go there, we got a couple more events to cover. I know there's a lot going on.
Yeah. And then Saturday, we have our 2 shows. We have the kids runway show. So we separate the shows.
Okay.
So we have the kids teen own show on Saturday at the Arc this year. And then we have the adult show at 7.
At 7 p.m. At
At
the Arc
7
as well?
At the Arc as well.
Okay.
Because last year, our feedback was the show was really long.
Okay. So
'Cause
you
we
took that
mixed-
feedback
yes.
and
So we
separated.
had the kids show and the adult show. So we said, you know what? Let me just give the kids their own show.
Yeah, and let us adults have a little bit of adult fun.
Yes.
You know?
yes. So that's what we did. So the kids this year have their own show.
Okay, excellent.
And then from 10 o'clock till 12, we have our little mini expo.
What do you mean by that?
We have
sales or like a trunk show? Or?
We have like a trunk show.
Okay.
Booth. Like different business will be there, and we are having.
Are designers going to be selling some of their creations?
No, not selling, just
Okay.
display.
Okay.
Display their stuff. More of an advertisement booth than sellable booths.
Okay, gotcha.
And it's going to be live broadcast from Compass Media
Okay.
from 10 to 12
Nice.
and Saturday. And then go back to Friday night now. Friday night at the gala, we have the Trailblazer Award, we have the school graduation, and we have the cutting ribbon of Cayman Own.
Dun, 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 dun.
Model agency.
Hey!
So we'll be doing the cutting of Cayman Own Model Agency.
Wow,
So
okay.
CIFWK have the franchise now of Cayman Model Agency.
Well, congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
There's so much going on there.
Yes,
That's
thank
a lot.
you.
Way to go.
Yes, thank you.
You're going to be happy to sleep next week. I know that.
Yes, and then we have Sunday now. We finish it off with our boat cruise.
Okay.
And it's
a boat
limited
cruise. Okay.
space. Yes.
Okay. Nice.
Very, very limited space on the boat cruise.
Lovely. So tell us a little bit then. When we were talking about we mentioned the Trailblazer Awards. How did these awards come up? Is there what's the criteria? How are people eligible? Can I nominate somebody? What are these awards about?
So this award came up from Inner Star. Inner Star is owned by Justin Edelman from United States.
Okay.
So Justin approached me, and she said to me, "I'm taking Inner Star to the Caribbean.
Okay.
You know, I would like to come on board with Cayman Fashion Week and do an Inner Star." We think about it, and I'm like, you know what? Instead of doing Inner Star, why not do our own Trailblazer Award sponsored by Inner Star? So that was how the Trailblazer Award was founded.
Okay.
So
I like that. I like how you were like, no, we're going to take ownership of this.
Yes,
I like
yes. So we decided to do our CIFW Trailblazer Award. So what the Trailblazer Award consists of, we go in the community and we nominate from designers to model to media to photographer to art,
community leaders,
to influencers.
I think it was all about when I was sharing with Norma. I said people need to be highlighted here in this community. I think they, for me coming here for so many years, I've seen so much talent, so many people that they're just behind the scenes that don't get recognized.
That's
and
so
I think
true.
this was the opportunity to present that and say, hey, Cayman, you have a beautiful island. I've been coming here for years, and you have so much beautiful, talented, gifted talent here. Highlight them. Not just the regular same people that we get to see, but there are other people like yourself. You're here doing an amazing work here at this radio station. So I think it's like an applaud to you guys. So when people can say, hey, I have a friend. No, she's not in the big media aspect, but she is helping children in our community, or they're helping building this, or they're helping that. And I think that's the special of the Trailblazer Awards. And I was so overwhelmed whenever I saw the nominations of people. It was over 3,000 people that voted. And I'm like, that's amazing.
That's pretty awesome.
Yes, nominating.
60-something nominees.
Wow.
Nice.
And
they're
these nominees, we have nothing to do with it.
Yeah. So, and
The
it's
public is who votes.
And what was so amazing is the fact that also, too, they were reaching out because, a lot of people have family overseas and they're voting in. And that's the heart of Cayman, the love. So I like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do people find out how to nominate, or what is the
it's
criteria?
It's closed.
Right.
Yeah.
But in the past.
But in the past,
I have
so
no
what
idea.
we do, we normally advertise it
Okay.
through media,
Social media.
our own local medias,
And when I say
newspaper.
social media, we're talking about if you want to stay connected with Cayman Instyle Fashion Week,
Yes.
especially in the social medias, from their Facebook, from their Instagram, their Twitter.
Right.
When you stay connected, you see all the events and things that are going on, because it's just not that one-stop shop where you say, okay, it's Fashion Week, now it's over. It's we're Norma and her team is really building this brand here on the island. So if you stay connected, you'll see those things appear on their
And
site.
what's coming
Okay,
next.
okay.
And what's
'cause we
coming
have a
next,
lot of
yeah.
stuff coming
Okay.
next for
So
this
during
year.
that time, yes.
We're going to
You'll-
segue now into a commercial break. When you said
Yeah.
what's coming next, we gotta go to quick commercial break, and then we're going to talk a lot more about what's coming next with Cayman Islands Instyle Fashion Week.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series. Brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, he hath founded it upon the seas.
Mary Catherine Bodden, 1910 to 1994.
Mary Catherine Borden, nee Eden, attended school at Caswell, taught by Mrs. Nora Dilbert, nee Walter. She was a loving, caring mother of 4 children. She was a member of the Presbyterian Church from 1925 and served as choir director, organist, Sunday school teacher, and founding member of Women's Guild at Savannah. She traveled to the various districts conducting services for the Guild and took care of the preparation of Holy Communion for years. She was an active and influential cornerstone of both her church and her family. She was the mother of Cayman's first national hero, James Manoa Borden.
The Rotary Cayman Islands Sunset $10,000 raffle happening Saturday, May 25th. Tickets only $10, 3 tickets only $25, 5 tickets for $40 from any Rotary Sunset member. All proceeds will support Rotary Sunset community projects including Feed Our Future, the Sunrise Adult Training Center, Adopt a School program, the Marie Martin Georgetown Primary School, the Crisis Center, and many more. The new Rotary Sunset Club. NPO number 656. Get your ticket, get your chance. Rotary Sunset, creating hope in the world.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
You know what I love to do with my family? Go fishing. I can put the bait on and cast and reel the line all by myself. My mommy and daddy say when they were little, there were plenty more fish to catch, but now there are lots more people fishing, so it's harder to find them. That's why we have marine parks now. They set some areas aside so the fish there can have babies and grow bigger. Then they swim out to other areas where I can catch them. Having the marine parks means there will still be fish there when I'm grown up and fishing with a family of my own.
For more info, download the Cayman DOE app or visit doe.ky.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
We have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center.
Specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
The Business Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Business Buzz.
Good morning and welcome back to the Business Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and we are talking Cayman Instyle Fashion Week. And I have in studio with me this morning Norma Ebanks, CEO of Cayman Instyle Fashion, and Alva Page, International Model Coach.
Yes.
Now, before the break, we were given about a bit of a rundown of events, and I want to know, we got some big names that are coming here this week and weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you let us know?
Besides my name, right?
Besides, Well, we know you're familiar with Cayman because before the break you said, I've been coming to Cayman for a long time. You didn't say the Caymans. So I know you're well versed with Cayman.
Yes. I was like, oh, the Caymans, yes.
You said Cayman, yes.
I was like, okay, man.
Yeah.
So who are some of the people that we can expect to
as
see?
you know, Alva Page, our international model coach right beside me here. We have Nigel Barker, American Top Model.
Oh, judge and photographer.
And photographer.
I used to have a big crush on him when I was a little younger.
Dale don't listen. I still do.
Oh, that's okay. Dale's not listening. I don't blame you.
So we have Nigel, who is our main host for the Friday night and the Saturday night show.
Nice.
We have Kira Bellen, who is also one of American Top Model contestant.
Okay.
And she is co-hosting the shows with Nigel.
Lucky.
Yes.
Lucky lady.
And then we have Justin Eldam, who is the founder of Inner Star and our main sponsor for the Trailblazer Award.
Right, okay.
And she's doing the gala night alongside Nigel. Then we have Vicky Wheaton.
Oh, yeah, I know Vicky.
Yes, we have our own Vicky. When I put them together, I said, you can imagine Vicky and Nigel on stage. Oh my God, I can't wait for Friday.
There's going to be some flirtation going on. I wouldn't blame her.
And then, yes, we have a couple of, the list is long, of international models coming to the Cayman Island alongside Kira Bellen. Because Kira Bellen is the owner of TFL. TFL, they are a franchise that do Miami Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week, London, you name it.
Okay.
And they approached me 2 years ago. So not only I get to work with them, I am one of their signature designers that travels with them.
Okay, nice.
And that gives me a platform for my models to travel the world.
Okay. Now, we're going to get into the models, but I want to know, we have all these names coming. We have so many people locally involved, a lot of sponsors, a lot of different stakeholders in Cayman. What about the impact on tourism? What kind of an impact do events such as Cayman Fashion Week have on tourism?
Okay, the impact it have on tourism is we want it, or now we can see where it becoming the fashion, one of the fashion destination early.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it is. That's what we put on the map now for the tourist department. So then people is coming, people reaching out. You know, this year we had 2 hotels on board this year.
Nice.
This year we have Cayman Airways, on board, and the stuff, and a lot more of that. We have our own tourism department. They're one of our main sponsors.
And then also, too, I think it really helps out because, me coming from the States, and I was in the airport in Miami, and they had the books, the destination books, and people were like, oh, you're going to Grand Cayman? I was like, yes. And I said, also, there's Cayman Instyle Fashion Week. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. So it's the tourism. That's the part of it. Whenever you can just greet people and you tell them, it just add more to their repertoire, or things to do on the island, besides the sailing and the cruising and the beach. They were like, oh, we have an event I can attend. I can dress up. So, and it's the arts. For me.
This year we can see where tourism, all a big part in it because we have people flying in from yesterday.
Okay, excellent.
From yesterday
that are coming
to
for
Monday,
the event.
That is coming for the event.
Excellent.
They said, you know what? Let's just do it as a vacation.
Yes.
Instead of just coming in for that day or two.
Okay.
So
Nice.
and that's
You spend a
something.
little bit of time.
Yes, something that so far I know of 68.
Wow.
Of 68
that are extending their vacation time here in Cayman, not just work, but it's going to be some vacation.
here in the Cayman Islands.
That's excellent. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And that word of mouth spreads.
Mm-hmm,
and we are a bit of a fashion island.
Yes.
I know sometimes people be like, where are you going dressed up like that? And it's,
I know,
why can't we? Why can't we?
With the support of our government, it allow my job to be a little easier. Not easy, but easier.
Of course.
From the
Support
our
matters.
government support.
Alva, there's so much in the production of this, and models are a key thing. There's no fashion show without that glamour.
Live mannequin, I said. Live mannequin.
Live mannequin. Yeah, but that glamour of models and what models do, that's what so much of who are watching are fascinated by. So can you tell us what goes into, I guess, training these models, getting these models together? You're working with models from all ages.
Yes. What goes into it is trust. That's what goes into it.
That sounds too easy.
No. When I say that, because I think you can have so many people that can train any and everybody, but that individual, those models need to trust you. They need to know. They need to see your expertise. They need to see that you can. They can let their guard down, and I think that's what happens in with just dealing with models. Period. Can I let my guard down? Can I be myself? It doesn't have to be so tight. So my coaching technique is more about the individuality of the model and their personality, and that's something that is totally missing on the runways today. They don't get to see that, and so Cayman allows me to express that. When I'm here doing this show, and with working with the models, it is from the techniques, it's from movement, it's from body posture, it's from walking in heels properly. And also the most important thing too is the selling of the garment, not to over dramatize the outfit, but to accentuate the outfit, to bring the garment to life. I think sometimes we just overdo it. We do a lot of touchy. We got to show collar, we got to show this, and it's like you don't have to do 50 things in one moment.
Let it speak for itself.
Let it speak for itself. Okay. Yes.
Now, you've worked with so many local models.
Yes.
What have you seen in them blossom in their career? Because I'm sure that they're not just doing Cayman Islands Fashion Week anymore.
What I see in, even from the previous models to the models now, I see growth, and I see change in them. Like it's. Let's say like this. It's like they had a little door, a little trunk that needed to be open of creativity. Now this gives them the opportunity to open that trunk or that door. And they're like, oh my God, I look good. Oh my God, I can do this, And I think that plays a very important role, because I think sometimes we can just be, you become a lawyer, you become a doctor, you become this and that, and arts is just like, okay, that's secondary. But then I allow them to see that you can take this type of art form and you can use it in your profession, in your media, in your being an attorney, being your posture. Right. So I just flipped it, and say, yes, you can be creative, you can be a model, you can be that pageant girl, you can do whatever. That's that creative side of you, and you can make this thing happen in anything that you do. When you walk in the room, you can have that presence, you can glow, and people will see that.
That confidence.
That is confidence.
It brings so much confidence out, and that's so key.
And it's the kids. When I see the kids, their face lit, like they just light up, and they're ready. And to see them from 2 years ago to, from 5 years old to 6, 7 now, it's like amazing. But their style is like, they come into their own. It's like, we got this, coach. And I'm like,
I like that.
Oh, yeah. And then to having young male models, the kid models, I let them have fun, because normally it's always for the girls. And when you have that young male boy that's just having fun with it, I told one of the moms, she's like, oh, he likes to throw out his little peace sign. I said, let him do it. Yeah. Because most male boys, they're shy. They're like, no, this is not me. Right. But when they come on the runway and they're like, yeah, I look good, and let them do it. Let them have fun. Yeah. Right. So I don't break that confidence in them.
I like that. That's great. That's I love it. Yeah. Now, we only have a couple minutes left, but I know that earlier, Norma, you spoke about having models that travel from Cayman that are traveling with you wherever you go to do fashion shows. Yeah. So tell us about that. So that Cayman Islands Fashion Week isn't just for Cayman. It has brought a world of opportunity for not only local designers, local models, people like yourself. Tell us a little bit about that.
So as I said, TFL, I travel with TFL as Norma Ebanks Design. So because I travel with TFL as Norma Ebanks Design, that also gives me the opportunity to bring models with me all over the world. Now that we have our own model agency, it won't be Norma Ebanks now. It will be CIFWK sending them across the world to take it to the next level.
So where have you brought these models?
Miami. Okay. Miami, New York, Milan, London, Paris.
How do I get to go to Milan?
We'll talk about that.
All right, we got to wrap up. We have less than a minute. So do we want to anybody out there to thank? Any sponsors to thank?
Thank our sponsor, Ministry of Investment, Innovation and Social Development, Ministry of Border Control, Labor and Culture, Ministry of Tourism, ARC, Ebanks Consulting Service, Jake Scott, Cayman Compass, Ideal Marketing, Norma Banks Design, Inner Star, Raider Cayman, Creative Fashion and Design, King Sports Center.
There's a lot going on there. Yes. Where can we get tickets? I don't even think we've mentioned that.
So where can we get tickets? At info at Cayman www.caymaninstylefashionweek.com, and you can also call 928-0344.
928-0344. All right. I'll try to give that a plug a little later on.
Yeah.
If I have the time to do it. But get your tickets now for Cayman Instyle Fashion Week, www.caymaninstylefashionweek.com.
Yes.
All right. It's a big event this weekend, so you miss it, you snooze, you lose. You want to support your designers, your models, everybody out there in Cayman that are doing a thing. We're going to try to have some ticket giveaways, but we cannot do that right now. So, stay tuned in to the Business Buzz and we'll see what we can do for you.
Good morning. Studio time now by Foster's is 8:01.
Well, Doc, I'm getting old. I'm out of shape, always on edge and off balance.
And how does it make you feel?
I guess it makes me feel like I should live better.
Here's my suggestion.
Are you saying I'm a blank piece of paper?
Turn it over.
Live well? Is this code?
No. Live Well from Foster's and CG Brit-K. A great resource on staying healthy, decluttering your mind, and managing stress.
Really? And it's free?
Really. LiveWell.Fosters.ky won't cost you a cent. This session, however, live well with Foster's and CG Brit-K.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. Closing arguments are complete in the trial against Jeffrey William Ebanks, the former head of the board of the National Housing Development Trust, charged with the removal of over 60 loads of topsoil and vegetative matter without board approval. Radio Cayman's Jeffy Ebanks reports.
Closing arguments from the lawyers involved in the case of Rex versus Jeffrey William Ebanks took center stage in court on Monday. The judge's summation also began on Monday afternoon and is expected to continue this morning. Justice Cheryl Richards, in her summation to the jury of 6 women and 1 man, said that Mr. Ebanks, while in his capacity as the board chairman of the NHDT, instructed for landfill material to be delivered to land belonging to him and his father. The material, which was supposed to go to a local non-profit, was diverted after the local non-profit said they couldn't accept any more. The Crown says that the moving of the product was not done with the permission of the board and that Mr. Ebanks did not tell the general manager of the NHDT. The Crown argues that Mr. Ebanks had an interest in the material and should have declared his interest, and says he benefited not just from the over 60 loads worth of material, but as well as from the cost of trucking the material. The defense says at the time the board met to determine what should happen with the material, he had no interest in the material and only had interest after the non-profit said they could take no more. The defense further argues that while Mr. Ebanks' actions may have been an error in judgment, his actions do not amount to a breach of trust of his public office. The jury is expected to begin their deliberations as early as this afternoon or tomorrow morning. Jeffy Ebanks, Radio Cayman News.
Organizers say day one of this year's National Children's Festival of the Arts Primary School Division was, quote, truly fantastic. Monday's schedule featured dance and vocal performances, including those you just heard from Thielen McCoy Primary School's traditional folk dancing group and choirs from Marie Martin Primary in St. Ignatius. Today, the Thespians get a chance to show off their skills with speech solos and choirs in the morning and dramatic scenes, monologues, and soliloquies scheduled for this afternoon at the Harkwell Theater. Students at Lehman Scott High School attended a career fair on Friday. Here's CIG-TV's Donna Bush.
Many demonstrations were held for the students, giving them a bird's eye view of various career paths that are available.
The conversation for us today will have share and engineer your choices, your options, and debate. And it is honest today with a students to set your career path for the future of you, your family, these islands, country, the world.
Again, the career fair gives students the opportunity to explore various career paths that they can take. Both public and private sector companies had representatives on hand to speak with them, giving guidance towards the best career choices.
Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which takes us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller.
BBC News with Emily Thomas. The Israeli government says it's launched a diplomatic offensive against Iran as it considers a military response to the missile and drone attack against it. The foreign minister has written to more than 30 countries calling for sanctions against Iran's missile program. He also wants them to designate the Revolutionary Guard Corps as a terrorist organisation. The UN Human Rights Office has accused Israel of continuing to impose unlawful restrictions on humanitarian relief for Gaza. A spokeswoman in Geneva also criticised the Israeli military's widespread destruction of civilian infrastructure. Memorial services have been taking place across South Korea on the 10th anniversary of the Sewol ferry disaster. More than 300 people died, most of them schoolchildren, when the vessel capsized and sank. Firefighters in the Danish capital, Copenhagen, are tackling an intense blaze in one of the city's most historic buildings. The spire of the old stock exchange has collapsed. The site had been undergoing renovation. World News from the BBC.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin are the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Healthcare Pharmacy, caring about your health for the past 25 years. Radio Cayman's premier health show.
Alzheimer's and dementia, are they the same disorder?
Yeah, I think that's a very important question.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush. For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
Is heard on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. and on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Brought to you by Healthcare Pharmacy in Grand Harbor, where they care about your health. Transfer and refill your prescription online. Visit healthcarepharmacy.ky or call 947-8900. Healthcare Pharmacy, now with a second location in Governor's Square. Healthcare Pharmacy, where they care about your health.
RC Fusion.
10 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Radio Cayman. Biggest variety in the morning. Biggest variety.
RC Fusion.
Following the 10 a.m. news headline. Biggest variety in the morning. Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 82 degrees. Relative humidity is 76%. The barometric pressure is 29.95 inches and rising. The wind is out of the east-northeast at 16 knots. Overnight low temperature was 79 degrees. Synopsis indicate moderate easterly winds and seas are expected for the next 24 hours in association with a high pressure system over Florida. Moisture associated with a dissipating front is expected to produce some cloudiness and light showers today. Satellite images show scattered low-level clouds over Grand Cayman. Now the forecast for the Cayman Islands for today and tonight, calling for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers, and temperatures today will be in the mid-80s and will fall to the upper 70s tonight. Your winds will be northeast at 15 to 20 knots and seas will be moderate to rough with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. Low tide will be this afternoon at 12:19. High tide again this evening at 7 minutes after 6. The sun will set this evening at 6:42 and sunrise expected tomorrow morning at 7 minutes past 6. And the outlook is calling for similar weather conditions through Thursday morning.
Take some advice from your Aunt Angie. If you're going to invest in an exotic pet, choose anything but a Norwegian forest cat. Apparently, they will eat all your jewelry. Before you know it, you're racing to the vet when your cat escapes from his carrier and lunges for your earrings. You crash and your cat swallows your pearls. But if you're smart, you'll have CG Motor Insurance and get the best comprehensive coverage for the price.
Get the best comprehensive coverage for the price. CG Brit-K. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
The 8 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Brit-K, where people come first.
Radio Cayman Super Jam Show, the #1 drive time entertainment show on your radio.
Brought to you by these kind sponsors.
The Cayman Islands Football Association, CIFA, building a better future for Cayman football.
Cayman Insurance Center.
Don't take chances with your family's future or your valuable assets. Call me today, Michael Webster, at 925-5433.
UWI Open Campus, on-site, online, and on demand.
Visit open.uwi.edu. Call them today at 946-8322.
Super Jam.
Also brought to you by
Cayman Airways. Call them at 949-2311 to book your non-stop flights to Los Angeles and Panama.
Superior Auto Center. Do it right the first time with Superior Auto.
949-9570
or 525-9571.
Superior Auto. They keep your car in tune.
And Coca-Cola. Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga wholesalers. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola.
The #1 drive time entertainment show on your radio.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Good morning once again. Let's take a look this time at traffic. On the Linford Pearson Highway, traffic is steady, and steady traffic coming off of the Linford Pearson Highway on Agnes Way as well as Bobby Thompson Way. And continuing on to Huldah Avenue. On Cool Road, traffic is slow moving, heading to Georgetown, and eastbound traffic on Cool Road is light to moderate. Moderate flow of traffic in both directions on Godfrey Nixon Way and Easton Avenue, and flowing pretty good coming from the West Bay four-way stop as well as Edward Street. One cruise ship in port today, so be aware of that as you maneuver on Seafair's Way. Owen Roberts Drive, traffic is flowing nicely. Coming off of Esterly Tibbetts Highway, steady traffic. Industrial Park area, moderate flow of traffic. For the east on Shamrock Road and Rex Creighton Boulevard, flowing moderately. And that's what's happening on your roads. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12 o'clock. We'll give you another look at traffic. Remember, click it or ticket.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
The Business Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning and welcome back to the Business Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and on this segment, I am welcoming from Derma, Dr. Rebeca De Miguel.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you for coming. How are you doing today?
Good.
Did it take just 10 minutes to get here? we were joking during the break, saying, man, we're so used to living in Cayman and knowing exactly where we need to go, and just it takes 10 minutes, and we don't really venture out of that little comfortable circle that we have.
Yes.
So, no, maybe it took 15 minutes with the morning
today
traffic.
It was a bad traffic, but...
Okay. All right. Well, Derma. So this is your business now, and it's located in the Grove, correct?
Yes.
So you've only been there...
Like 2 years already.
2 years. Is that how long the Grove's been open?
Yes. We were one of the first ones, but the time goes so quickly.
Okay,
yeah.
Wow. So give us a little bit about your history in Cayman, and then when you... I guess after you venture into that, if you can tell me how you even got started in dermatology. What was your interest for this? So,
well, if you want, I can start from that.
Okay,
because
go for it.
I did first another specialty. I'm also a GP, a general practitioner.
Okay.
And when I was doing the rotation on dermatology, I thought, oh my gosh, I want to be a dermatologist. I love this. So I finished my first specialty and I studied again, passed the exams again, did my 4 years training in dermatology again. And since then, I love it. I'm one of these lucky people that they go to work happy, you know.
That's important.
I really enjoy what I do. I'm all the time buying new things, doing new things. So I really, really enjoy. And I've been here, I was telling you before, I think more than 12 years already. And so I started in different clinics. The last one was with Celimar, with Dr. Alvaro. That he's amazing, and from there I decided that I wanted to do my own thing, because I wanted to have a practice just for dermatology, no psychology, gynecology, all together. No, just dermatologists, different aspect of the dermatology, to be able to treat the medical concern, the cosmetic, the surgery, all in the same place, no? And to bring things that we didn't have at that point, more surgery for skin cancer, no? So I wanted to create something new, but with the lacks that I've been seeing during these years, and just to dedicate just for dermatology.
Okay. Now, when you were doing your rotations, you were saying you fell in love with dermatology, and you were like, I wanna do this. What was it about dermatology that you said, man, this is it for me?
Because through the skin, you can see inside the conditions, you have a lupus or internal condition, and through the skin you can find out what the patient has, no? So it's like a kind of a Sherlock Holmes thing. So I thought it was so interesting. And on the same side, on the other hand, you can have cosmetic too, what is always fun. And so you had the both things, a little bit of surgery. You can do, I like to do manual things. So for me, surgery is really, really interesting too. I enjoy with that. So you had both of everything, no?
Okay.
So it was very, it attracted me.
Okay.
It was, yeah.
Okay, I know some doctors just like to focus on, they're specialized in something, so dermatology was it for you?
Yes.
But did you start your career in Spain?
Yeah. I did 2 specialties there. I did a rotation in the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, in Minnesota. Okay. And but mainly my specialty and everything, it was in Spain. Yeah.
Okay. So when you moved to Cayman and you were working in dermatology here, what would you say are the most kind of common skin conditions or concerns that you see, specifically more of the Cayman or Caribbean region?
Well, obviously the skin cancer, because of the location, no, of the sun, and there are a lot of Caucasian skin. It means a whiter color with a lot of sun damage. So probably one of the most common causes is skin cancer. And obviously other acne, rosacea, pigmentation. They are depending on the age, the group, if it's a female, if it's a male, the age, depending on that, the condition is a different concern, no?
Okay, but you would see, in comparison to Spain, did you find there was a lot more skin cancer cases you would
Well,
see
I was
here?
in a region in Spain with a lot of skin cancer too, because it was in near Madrid. It was like a lot of farmers, etc.
Okay.
So they were very exposed also to the sun, and I had there a lot of skin cancer too. But here, yes, there is a lot of skin cancer.
Okay, it's concerning, and I said to you before that we started the show, I had an experience with it. So before we go into my experience, I want to know, I guess, the different types of skin cancers that are out there.
Yeah, we have two types of skin cancer. I'm going to say this very simplified, okay? So we have the skin cancer melanoma and the no melanoma. The melanoma, everybody knows, like a typical mole or that has changed, so it's a new mole, and it could be like a melanoma. And the other one is the no melanoma skin cancer, that is a basal cell carcinoma, a squamous cell, that are cells that the sun damage the skin and produce this skin cancer. And this second type is not usually the one that produces metastasis. Yes, it's usually is on the skin, no? We just have to cut it. And it's something that usually doesn't heal. People sometimes come to the office like, I have this mosquito bite in my arm. For how long? 3 months. Okay, that's not a mosquito bite. That's probably something else. Let's check it. So something that doesn't heal is because the tissue is not healthy, no? And that's why we have to be checked.
Okay, interesting. So there's melanoma and non-melanoma, and falling within the melanoma spectrum are...
With the melanoma spectrum, depending on the stage, depending on how deep it is, it has a different prognosis. So that's why it's so important to go, as soon as you feel like something new or something changing, to go to the dermatologist, because the earlier, the better. So it's very, very important to be checked at least once a year, or whenever you have a new spot or something that you are concerned about.
So that's another thing that's interesting, because as a woman, as you get older, you start, well, for me at least, I start to get all these little moles on my body, and like in the décolletage area, and I realized that was also a family thing. So I would, my mom said, your grandmother had this, I have this. I would almost think it's a genetic thing. I don't know if everybody gets that.
Well, there are many people that they have it, and indeed it's a kind of genetic, but they are not moles. They usually are or skin tags or seborrheic keratosis. I always call them experience and wisdom.
I think one got one ran from the wise side, and
but we can remove a little bit the experience and the wisdom.
Okay, but that would be a cosmetic, more of a cosmetic thing.
Yes, it's not needed, but we do that all the time.
Okay, so a couple years ago for me, I finally went and got checked, because I said, Matt, the thing about skin cancer, it can really appear almost anywhere on your body, right? And we can't see a lot of those places. So, but with me, I could absolutely see my face every day. I'm in the mirror, if I'm getting ready, putting makeup on, whatever. And there was something kind of along my hairline in the forehead, mole that had been there. And I remember maybe 5 years ago, I was like, I want to get this checked. And I didn't get it checked until a couple years ago. But I feel like it's changing a little bit. And that was one of the signs that I was always, I guess, taught or told to look out for. If a mole changes, but I would think a drastic change. This didn't seem like a drastic change, but it just didn't seem right. And so I said, okay, let me go check this out. So I went to a dermatologist here, and they had like this little magnifying glass almost, and looked at it and was like, yep, definitely, but we have to basically cut it out and send it off like a biopsy to make sure that it is, that we think it's cancer. We have to confirm that it is cancer. And that's what they did, and it was a basal cell carcinoma. And so I was completely freaked out, and the response to me was, everybody gets this. I deal with tons of these a day. Just cut it out. Don't worry about it. You got to check your body every year. And I haven't gone back in that sense to check my body every year.
Well, you should.
Right. But what's the, I guess, the chances of this reoccurring? Because I know there's a lot of people out there like me that have, had this removed.
So it's very important to be checked again and to do a follow-up every 6 months. Because if you had a basal cell carcinoma, you have 40% chances to have another one in the next 2 years, no?
In the next 2 years?
Yes, so it's very important at the beginning, after having that, not just because it could reoccur, that if you have removed properly, is unlikely. but to have another one. Because you have to think that the skin that has received the same amount of sun damage in the whole area, no? You could have another one. So it's important to be checked, because there are areas such as the back that you cannot see your back.
Right. Or the head.
Or the hair.
Yeah.
We have a lot of skin cancers on the scalp. And although the basal cell carcinoma is true that it doesn't produce metastases, but
what does that mean?
Metastasis means that it goes the cancer to other organs in the body inside. So the basal cell carcinoma doesn't produce that. It's a type that is true that is more benign within the skin cancer. It's just on the skin. But it could keep growing, bleeding, and invade structures that are nearby, no? So depending on the area, it's important, the sooner the better, because the cosmetical outcome is better to cut it when it's smaller, no?
Okay.
Obviously, if we have, thanks God, we have in our clinic more surgery, that is a technique for skin cancer. We cut it in the same moment. We look at the microscope, so you leave the clinic knowing that you don't have skin cancer anymore, and the scars usually are smaller.
Okay.
So we are the only ones in Cayman and probably in the Caribbean.
Oh, wow. Well, we're going to get into that, because we definitely want to hear more about that. Now, in saying that it doesn't, what was that word? Metastasis?
Metastasis. Yeah, well, I don't know if I pronounce it properly with my Spanish pronunciation, but
well, I hope I do in English. I'm not super familiar, so in that sense, because I thought, oh my gosh, if something's on my forehead, it's spreading into my brain, and so I had the most dramatic kind of thoughts going on in my head about it. But
that could be with the melanoma. The melanoma, yes, and sometimes, depending on the type, the squamous, but the basal cell, usually no. The basal cell is just on the skin.
What signs are we looking for when we're checking out our bodies to see, okay, I do see a mole, I do see some sort of a blemish on my skin? How can we kind of self-check ourselves?
Well, it's what I was saying before. If you have a new spot or something that has changed, a mole that you had it for a long time and suddenly it has different colors, or something is like, oh, this is not normal, you have to be checked. And things that are not healing, when something is not healing, usually it's skin cancer because the tissue is not healthy. So in both cases, I do recommend to go to see a dermatologist. Many times people is interesting that they come because of ugly lesions, but they are benign, like a seborrheic keratosis. But it's much better to tell you, relax, no worries, don't panic, that, you should have come earlier. You know, so it's important to be checked at least once a year.
Okay.
And every time you have a new concern, it's important also.
So and when it's checked, is that just checking in that area, or is it the full body?
I can't help it, but I check the patients the whole body.
Okay.
When they come, I give them a beautiful blue dress, paper beautiful dress. No, I like to check everything, because sometimes they come for something and then I find something else. So I check the whole body.
Okay. Interesting, because tomorrow I have an appointment with my dermatologist at HSA. So please do not reschedule HSA if you're listening out there. But I had my hairstylist find a mole in the back of my head, and she's like, I don't remember this being here. Do you remember this? I'm like, how would I remember this? I can't see the back of my head, right?
Yeah.
And she had made a really good comment that, not all dermatologists, when you go get checked, it's like the scalp is a lot harder, and they have to spend a lot more time in there to look for it. So right when she said that, I said, okay, well, I remember a couple years ago I had to deal with something, so let me make that appointment right away just to make sure. And my GP, when the GP had to send me to the specialist, the GP looked and said, I don't think it's anything. It doesn't look like it's anything, but we're still going to take all the proper steps, right?
Obviously, yeah.
And so when you say there's a 40 chance possibility that within 2 years that you could develop another, mole that has cancer, it's something to really take serious. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that whole prevention is better than cure things. So.
Yes, it's much better if you come with a small carcinoma. outcome cosmetically also is going to be much better, because if we have to cut it, the scar is going to be smaller, or perhaps it's an early stage and we just can use a cream or cryotherapy. So there are different methods to destroy the skin cancer depending on what it is and how deep it is. So the sooner the better.
And the cryotherapy is like the freezing?
Yep.
Okay. And that will kill it?
Well, it has to be superficial. You cannot treat a nodular type that is a little bit like a ball.
Okay.
You cannot treat that. That one requires cutting. That's why it's important to do a biopsy first to see what kind of skin cancer it is to provide the best treatment.
Okay. So I'm going to ask this before we go to our commercial break, but with biopsies, do you do biopsies right here in your lab, or do you have to send?
I do the biopsies and I send them to Miami, to Ameripath, that they are dermatopathologists. So they are excellent. And in 7-10 days, we have the results.
Okay, excellent.
So, yeah.
All right. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to still be talking a little bit about skin cancer and all sorts of the different services they offer at Derma, which is located in the Grove.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
We have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center,
specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
This is Eliane Powery, Miss Universe Cayman Islands 2023. I am concerned that our beloved islands are at a high risk of losing plants and animals that are only found here. Warmer temperatures, drought, and other changes are harming our unique species and the habitats they depend on. Losing biodiversity means losing the benefits that nature provides, like clean air and water. To learn more about the climate risk to our islands, visit www.gov.ky/climate change policy.
Hey, join me, Sterling Dwayne Eubanks on Talk Today, Monday through Friday from 12:15 to 2:30 p.m. on Radio Cayman. Talk Today, the show where you can voice your views on the issues that matter most in the Cayman Islands. Call 949-8837, 949-6990, or WhatsApp 925-3261. Hey, you can even email asksterlingdwayne@gmail.com. We want to hear from you, so join us. Talk Today, weekdays from 12:15 to 2:30 p.m. The show that connects you with the people and the stories that matter.
The Business Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Business Buzz.
Good morning and welcome back to the Business Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and I am in studio this morning with Dr. Rebeca De Miguel from Derma. She's a dermatologist. She's been in Cayman about just over 12 years, we were saying, and she's opened up her own practice, her own dermatology-focused practice in the Grove. And right before the break, I feel like I got a bit of a free consultation there, or post-consultation, where we're talking about basal cell carcinomas, which is an experience that I had, and quite a lot of people in Cayman, I would say, could echo that same kind of experience that I had, right? So I know that tomorrow I see a dermatologist, so we'll see what happens. But right before the break, you were telling me something so interesting about or during the break, you were telling me something so interesting about a full body scan that can that really just checks out all your moles. Can you go into detail about that?
Yes. Well, I always have I try to have the latest technology and all these kind of things. And the ATVM is a photo finder system that is like a machine, like a tower, so that it records all the moles that you have. So it's very convenient, because that way, when you come back, if you have a new spot, it's going to be highlighted in red. If you have one that has changed, it's highlighted in yellow. So it's like a baseline to have of the patient, of all the moles you have. But eventually, when the patient comes back, we can see if there is any change, a new thing. It's very helpful, very, very helpful.
So it'll scan the moles on your body, but
the whole
will
body.
Will it detect anything?
Well, it's thanks God, dermatologists, we are still important, and we have to, otherwise we will have a problem. No, I mean, the machine is telling us clues that when something is grown, but it has to be the dermatologist who says, okay, this is not okay, or this is just a vascular lesion, or this is nothing. The machine thought it was sometimes the patients come with an underwear that has dots, and the machine thinks that the dot is a mole. You know what I mean? So there are things that they are like we have still to be the ones who decide what is important or not.
Okay, excellent. Yeah. Now, you were saying that you have some equipment, some surgical equipment. It's a certain surgery procedure, I want to say, because it's when I went on your website, I think it said MOH.
Moss, yes.
Okay.
Moss is
Tell us about this.
Is the surgeon that invented the technique. Is the name of a person. So this is a technique that, as I said before, we are the only ones in Cayman. It was one of my goals when I opened Derma, no, to provide things that we didn't have in the rest of the country. And I tried to see if there was any other in the Caribbean, but I couldn't find. So perhaps we are the only ones. It's a technique Dr. Weiss, he's a dermatologist in Miami. He comes once a month to do this technique. We have all the cases for skin cancer. And there are skin cancer that usually are on the face, the head, neck, areas that are more compromised. And so we cut the skin cancer. We look at the microscope in the same moment at the clinic. So the patient, when they leave the clinic, they know 100% that they don't have skin cancer left. And also, usually the scars are smaller because we are saving healthy tissue. And so it's an excellent technique for skin cancer, no? To preserve healthy tissue and to make sure 100% that you don't have anything left. And Dr. Weiss, he has a lot of experience. He's going to be next year the president of all the Mohs surgeons in the States.
Okay.
Yeah, we're super lucky. I don't know how I convinced him
to come down, but
to come here.
You have the technology.
Yeah,
so,
yes.
And there's quite a lot of cases that we see in Cayman with people who have skin cancer. So,
and we try at the clinic. We try to provide with a lot of. We have a lot of lasers. We have a lot of equipment for instance, for the scars after a procedure, or to try to minimize the aspect of a keloid or another type of scar. So we try to have packages and to try to help the patient. Yeah.
Okay. Now, what would require somebody to get that Mohs surgery? I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but what would require somebody to get the Mohs surgery as opposed to maybe something less invasive or a different procedure? Like, what happens when you're like, okay, you have to go with Mohs?
Well, as we said before, depends on the biopsy. Because if you have a basal cell carcinoma that is superficial, you can try with a cream, you can try with cryotherapy, depending on the location, the size, many reasons, no? And but if it's an infiltrative, a nodular in the tip of the nose, things like that, you can do like a conventional surgery, or a Mohs surgery. Mohs, you know that you are removing the whole thing, and the scar is smaller. And with conventional surgery, sometimes it happens that we cut it, we wait for the result. Oh, I'm so sorry, the borders are affected, we have to cut it again. So that's the difference between the two techniques.
Oh, okay, that's good to know, because the borders was something that was explained to me previously as well. Okay, I like it. So, I mean, I think it's a great tool to have.
Yes,
it's a great option for people to have, so they don't have to be treated elsewhere for this.
No, I used to send them off island, and it's just local anesthesia. So the patient had the trouble to go abroad to have a procedure with local anesthesia. It was insane, and we can do it here in the office. So
right, nice. So what I want to ask, like the worst cases that you've seen in Cayman that you've had to treat.
Well,
I've heard of some pretty crazy. I guess melanomas that just like huge things growing out of people.
Well, the ones that usually they grow the most are squamous cell carcinoma is the quickest growth, or basal cell carcinoma. They could be quite big if they don't treat it. Some people leave things over years and they keep growing, no? Because it's skin cancer, they are not going to stop growing. So depending on the location is what is more, let's say, shocking, no? Because it's like the whole ear or the whole nose or the whole So that's the reconstruction after is the tricky part.
And that's where or do you come into play with the cosmetic stuff that you do as well?
So we do cosmetic too, and for instance, for Dr. Weiss, who does the most surgery, he does a lot of cosmetic in the sense the flaps, the graft. We always try to do like the best outcome after we do CO2 Fraxel laser to try to improve the scar. So we try to have a good cosmetical outcome too.
Okay, excellent. Whew. There's some myths about skin cancer that I would like you to discuss or to debunk for our listeners. So one of the biggest misconceptions are the things that I hear most often in Cayman when I moved here. And I would speak to some of my friends that were not white, so brown skin, black skin, the people that were just not of my complexion, darker skin for me than me for sure. I'd be like, you gotta wear sunscreen. I always wore sunscreen since I was like 12, so but I was like, I still got a little something, so it made me sad, but it can happen. Clearly it can happen, which also brings me to the point of it's really important to wear sunscreen. And I would have some friends be like, I don't need to wear it. Like, I'm black. We don't need to wear sunscreen. Yeah. And I'm...
Obviously, when you have darker color, you are more protected, but still...
How? Why are you more protected?
Because the melanin is absorbing the radiation in the sense of having less damage. But still, because of you are tan, you are not protected. In fact, to be tan is one of these myths, the I'm healthy tan and these things is not such a thing. It means that the melanin is produced by melanocytes because of the radiation, the UV, no? So here I have that problem, that people don't want to use the sunscreen because I'm black or I'm dark or but you still could have skin cancer. There was a very interesting study in the States that the Latino population, that is phototype 4, like a darker color but not really brown, they thought that, and there was an increase in the skin cancer in that population. But it was one of the ones that they were having an increase on skin cancer because of the lack of knowledge of I'm not going to have skin cancer, no?
Okay.
So, and in darker colors, what is very common, I have a lot of consultation because of the discoloration, because of the dyschromia, the darker melasmas, etc. It happens a lot in darker color of skin. And you have to use sunscreen if you want to avoid that. I have a lot of consultations for pigmentation in darker patients, and that's a must. You have to use sunscreen.
Okay. So no matter your complexion, you have to use sunscreen. And I would say I tan so easily. I tan beautifully, but I can also burn really bad.
Yes, and also you have to think that when you are having the tan, the DNA it has been affected, no? The UVA is affecting the dermis, the superficial dermis, so they are producing changes that eventually could lead to the skin cancer, to the wrinkles, to the aging, both.
Wrinkles, that's something I don't want to... we're going to talk about it, but it's not something that I personally want to. I'm seeing them come more and more.
We have plenty of things for that.
Right, and I think now is the time. Now is the time I got to go into it. But okay, another myth. With women, a lot that I hear this. So I'll hear something like, well, my makeup has SPF coverage, my foundation has an SPF coverage, or my moisturizer. And I would say I was one of those people that would say, yeah, my moisturizer has SPF, so I'm okay. I don't need sunscreen.
Well, it depends. Indeed, if you have already the moisturizer with SPF, it's the same. It's just a sunscreen.
Okay.
It depends. If you tell me it's a 5 SPF, I will tell you, okay, that's not a sunscreen. But above 20, 30, we are talking.
Okay. So as long as there's at least 20 or 30.
20 or 30, I will go more. I mean, at the office, we sell just 50, no?
Right.
Right now, myself, I'm wearing 50.
Okay.
So, but because that's another problem that many people think that the 50 is going to be very white, thick, and that's not the case. It depends on the type of, if it's a gel cream, a water gel, a lotion. So it depends on the texture rather than the sunscreen number. So there's a lot of myth with the sunscreens. So we have like a lot of testers. So try this one and say, oh, this is transparent. Of course. But it's 50. Yeah. You know, that people think that because of the number, it's going to be like a white or thick.
Okay.
And nowadays we have like a very nice sunscreens that are completely transparent.
Oh, I'm going to come try you for a tester because I didn't know that. That's excellent to know. And I understand because sometimes if you put a sunscreen on and there's still that, like this little layer of absolute white on your face, and then you have makeup on above it sometimes, and it just looks odd. No, and we can tell, you know.
You can look at me right now.
Yeah, I can't see it at all. Yeah. Okay, nice. So that's one of the myths. Now, a next one. Waterproof and water resistant mean the same thing when it comes to sunscreen.
You see, there is no waterproof. It's just a water resistant. It means that it's going to last a little bit more, but at the end you have to reapply. It's not concrete. It's just
thankfully
you have to reapply when you sweat, when you are in the water. It is going to last a little bit longer, but it comes to a point that you have to reapply.
Okay, and how long after you come out of the water should you reapply?
As soon as you go out of the water, reapply.
Okay.
If you're going to be exposed at the beach, yes.
Okay, all right. Now, before we go to the commercial break, I have one last myth I want to hit. Now, this is a tiny bit controversial, but sunscreen causes cancer. And I say that to say, in 2021, it is factual that certain brands, Neutrogena and Aveeno, they had to recall some of their sunscreen products that contain a chemical property, benzene, which is a carcinogen. So then there's been, people saying, well, sunscreen already causes cancer. Why would I wear that?
There was a lot of controversy, and there was an article from the American Academy of Dermatology, I think it was recently too, encouraging people to keep using sunscreen, and with talking about the safety of the sunscreens too. For instance, it's different from Europe, Australia, and the States in the ingredients, because the States consider the sunscreen like a medication, so it has to be approved by the FDA. So it's taking like a longer to be approved things that we have been using in Europe or in Australia for many years. So that's the trouble that they are having in the States with the sunscreen, that they cannot improve certain things because they are not allowed because of the delays of the FDA. But regarding the ones
but Europe, I find is more strict because look at the food.
But it's considered cosmetic. The sunscreens are considered cosmetic.
Wow. Okay.
But what it is, they are, and the FDA consider the sunscreens like the ingredients, like a medication. Okay. So they have to go through many things that they are delaying the process like forever. So the dermatologists in the States are very upset with this situation, and they are asking please reconsider this nonsense, and they are working on that. But in the meantime, we have a nice sunscreen nowadays. It's true that there are a lot of let's call it cheap sunscreens that they have more preservatives, perfumes, and that they could cause a contact dermatitis. What I see, not the skin cancer, what I see in the cheap sunscreens is contact dermatitis, because in children they could cause an allergy because of not the ingredient that is protecting, but because of the preservatives or perfumes or other ingredients that the sunscreen has.
Okay. That's a lot of info, and I wish we could go even deeper into that. We got to go to a commercial break right now, and when we return, we will be wrapping up with Dr. Rebecca from Derma.
Get ready to laugh till your belly hurts. The Laughter Lounge Comedy Show is back at Cabana Bay Cinema on Friday, April 19th. Doors swing open at 9 p.m. and the laughs kick off at 9:30 p.m. We've got comedians including the hilarious Daphne Springs from L.A., Joel Byers from Atlanta, and Alfred Kanga hailing from Dallas and Zimbabwe. Brought to you by Laugh Cayman. You do not want to miss the funniest night of the year. Tickets and info at laughcayman.com or call 326-4510.
The Department of Environmental Health would like to advise the public that the annual bulk waste collection will once again take place in May in preparation for hurricane season and replacing the traditional year-end collection. Residents are urged to prepare and separate their items ahead of the week assigned for collection in their respective areas. Any bulk waste that is put out after the announced dates will not be collected. Household appliances, furniture, and other items too large to be handled by the weekly DEH collection crews should be placed by the roadside where it is easily accessible to the DEH collection crews. Metals and vegetation should also be separated from other bulk items. Do not obstruct the roadway or storm drains or place tires, construction and demolition waste, hazardous materials, or electronics. For more information on the bulk waste collection, please contact the DEH's Solid Waste Management Section at 949-6696.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
On a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Message us at 925-3261 on WhatsApp today and get active with Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
The Business Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Business Buzz.
All right, welcome back to the Business Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and in studio this morning with me, I have Dr. Rebeca, dermatologist and founder, owner of Derma, which is a dermatologist clinic, I guess you could say, in the Grove.
Yes.
Now, Dr. Rebeca, I will say that you are a name that I've heard so much throughout the years when it comes to dermatology. So it is, for me, it really is a pleasure to meet you. And we were just saying in the break that a lot of people do know you through dermatology, but what else should they know about you when it comes to your company, Derma?
So when we started the clinic at Derma, we wanted to have, as I said, like just a clinic for dermatology, but to offer different aspects, no? Apart from the medical dermatology, skin cancer, most offer a cosmetic. We have a lot of, we have two amazing beauty therapists, Sarah and Laura, that they are doing a lot of cosmetic things. The nurses that are very well trained for certain lasers. We have IPL, Morpheus 8, CO2 fracture.
What is this? These are just acronyms. I don't know what these are.
So we have, for pigmentation, we have an IPL. It's a machine that it looks like a laser, but this is called intense pulse light, and it helps with the vascular and the brown spots. The Morpheus 8, it was very popular with the Kardashians because of the radiofrequency and microneedling. It does the tightening in the neck and the face.
Oh.
It was in all the Instagram, apparently.
I feel like that's almost like a facelift, but
yes, kind of. It's like a
non-surgical
one, yeah. And the CO2 fracture laser, I love that laser. It's a resurfacing. The skin is so amazing after, for the pores, the tiny wrinkles, the texture. So we have a lot of procedures. I try to combine many treatments. No, I do, for instance, a Derma pen and then a Candela laser. Derma pen is microneedling for the pores and again the production of collagen. And then a Candela laser that stimulates in the dermis also the collagen. So I do a lot of combinations because we try to tailor a little bit the concern of the patient. If the patient has pigmentation, okay, we can do perhaps a Derma pen, the microneedling, with a little bit of plasma with the PRP that is helping in reducing the pigment at the same time. Or we can do for the wrinkles, the CO2, but also we can do... So we combine procedures and we try to approach it with the packages so the patient can afford it.
Okay, I like that. So there's a whole bunch of different things, not just dermatology. Yes. This is more the cosmetic part.
Yes, we do. And also we do a lot of things that's interesting that people don't know, that I do a lot of things for hair loss, no? Because the hair is part of the dermatology. is the skin, hair, and nails.
Oh.
So the hair, we do a lot of treatments also with plasma, with the PRP injections to the hair loss, mesotherapy.
What is this, mesotherapy?
Mesotherapy is tiny injections with a machine that it makes tiny drops of medication in the areas that we want to treat to help you with the hair loss. But the most important thing here is to know why. Because it's not just to treat it, it's just to, as a dermatologist, I supervise obviously all the treatments in my office. No, it's something extra that we want to give to the patients. And it's important to know why is happening things. Why are you losing your hair? Because sometimes it could be an inflammatory autoimmune condition, a thyroid problem, anemia. Oh. So there are many things that we have to rule out. And we have also a tricoscan that is it takes photographies for the follicles of the hair before starting the treatment. So we can see after 6 months if the medication is working or not. Okay. It's not like I think you are okay. No, it's just like properly photos with the hair follicle, and we can see the evolution. So there are many options, but I think the most important thing is to do a proper diagnosis to start the treatment.
So when a lot of people do experience hair loss, and I'm going to say with men. Mm-hmm. So I know that for some men, balding, they're really concerned about losing their hair, and that it's just part of their look. Mm-hmm. And even with women, they might have some bald spots and whatnot. Do you offer anything, or with any of these procedures that you do have, is there anything that helps kind of regenerate hair growth?
Yes, it depends on the cause and depends on the advance of the situation. That's why I always encourage patients, the sooner the better, because we still have hair follicles to stimulate. If you come with already an area with scar tissue, I cannot stimulate anything there. But if they are just a thinner hair, I can help you. So the sooner the better. Women, we always care about the hair.
We do.
Always. Men, half of them they care, half of them they don't care.
Right.
The ones that they care, I tell them, please start as soon as possible.
Okay, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, I hope you're listening this morning. We might have some solutions for you. That's just me teasing our Talk Today host there. Right then, he's going to kill me when he sees me. But with some of these other treatments that you talked about, the wrinkles and the collagen production, is that for women when they hit a certain phase or a certain age in life? Like, do you recommend treatments that we should consider during different phases in our life?
Yes, depending on the age, we recommend certain procedures, certain lasers or Botox or fillers, Profilo. Depends on the age and depends on the concern. We do a lot of prevention, because it's easier to do like a tiny laser when you are not too bad than the waiting until you have like a deep lines to treat them. It's a challenge. When a patient comes with deep lines, it's a challenge. We can help you, obviously, but it's easier if we start, for instance, with the Botox. Some people think that is when you already have deep lines. No, if you have lines in movement, the Botox is going to help you to prevent to have the lines in rest. It's just the opposite. It's another way of thinking.
I didn't know that.
Yes, because you have already the lines in rest. What you need is a filler.
Okay.
If you have the lines in movement, what you need is the Botox to prevent you to have the lines in rest.
Okay.
So,
is there any age that I'm seeing a lot of Botox and filler in Cayman, but for a lot of girls starting in their 20s, early 20s. And for me, personally, I'm a little concerned because I feel like they don't need to do that right now.
Well, it depends on the patient, and I'm very, very conservative. I'm always saying less is more. Mm-hmm. I don't like to have this kind of puffy faces, or it's not me. So I try to be like a very conservative. But it's true that sometimes, even though they are young, they have like such a strong muscle, some people, that it's good to do a little bit of Botox, perhaps less units, but to do prevention. So it's good to do, for instance, microneedling. That is a not invasive, almost treatment that is at the following days like you did nothing, and it's stimulating your collagen and the pores and the texture. So it depends on the concern and how the patient is, what we offer one thing or the other. But definitely, I always say, don't get crazy. Let's start slowly.
That's a good recommendation. Excellent one. I agree with that one for sure. Yeah, don't get crazy. Sometimes people will look at a celebrity and be like, oh, they're trying to chase what that celebrity's going for. And when I was really young, I remember looking at my grandmother and being like, I love the wrinkles around her eyes. I thought it was so beautiful. Now, all of a sudden that I've developed them, I'm like, I don't think I like these so much. But it's, we should be happy that we have the privilege of aging, right? And also the way of kind of being able to slow it down a little bit cosmetically.
I think it's what you are saying just now, slowing down a little bit. I cannot pretend a lady of 60-year-old with no wrinkles at all, because that's not natural.
Yeah.
So we can improve the deepness, we can remove many of them, but you have to have some tiny lines to look natural approach, no?
Right.
So I like that to improve, to remove almost all, but to leave some, so you look more like you did nothing.
Right. Well, I'm coming at that time in my life now. A couple years ago I was okay, but now I'm like, you know what? I'm more considering it. So it looks like I have to come and talk to you, Dr. Rebecca, and
anytime
see what is possible. So to all our listeners out there, if you'd like to leave them with any last words, now's the time.
Well, I know that everybody complains that I'm fully booked until now July, but they can always try to contact us, because we have like a waiting list for emergencies, rashes, things that are changing. Also for cosmetical procedures, you cannot do through the website. You have to contact us, and sometimes the WhatsApp is the easier, 925-2512. Because they can contact the receptionists, that they are very helpful always, and they try to accommodate everybody. So I know that at the website is not easy to find a spot, but if you contact us, it's always better, because we can try to help you in having the appointment.
Gotcha. And that website is derma.ky. You can also try to email info@derma.ky. And that WhatsApp number that Dr. Rebecca just shared, if you could share it one more time.
925-2512.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much for joining us on this morning's Business Buzz. It was a pleasure to have you.
It's a pleasure to be here always.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Business Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Insurance Center, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services.
Yesterday,
today,
always and forever.